Hello, it's me, Drawcirc, and welcome to Can I Beat Pokemon Emerald in a hardcore randomizer Nuzlocke. Playing Pokemon Ruby as I was when I was 10 was fun, but now I actually want to use some strategy and not play like a moron. So first things first, let's cover the randomizer settings I used. For the Pokemon, I randomised the abilities but left the base stats, types and evolutions unchanged. For the starters, static Pokemon and trades, I randomise everything and make starters be able to be any Pokemon, not just the 3-stage Pokemon evolution lines. I didn't change anything about any of the moves, although later on in this playthrough I wish I had chosen to update the moves to the later gen version. For the trainers Pokemon, I made them completely random and selected our rival keeps their starter throughout the game, although apparently this doesn't apply to Wally for some reason. Not sure why. He's not a real rival, I guess. Next, for the wild Pokemon, I set it to area 1-to-1 mapping, which means that each Pokemon encounter on each route or cave gets randomised to a different Pokemon. This should really cut down on the duplicate encounters on different routes. I left the rest of the settings untouched, so we could literally encounter a legendary or fully evolved Pokemon on the first route. When it comes to HMs and TMs, I left everything unchanged, apart from I set HM compatibility to full, so I wouldn't have to catch a HM slave somewhere. I also randomised all the items you find on the floor and in Pokeballs, but banned all useless items like mail, because let's be honest, who am I going to be talking to? Finally, we set the fastest text, running shoes inside, lowercase Pokemon names, and randomised the catching tutorial. Now for the rules. I have to catch the first Pokemon I encounter, and only the first encounter for every route, cave, or other named area. If that Pokemon faints, escapes, or any other reason why we can't catch it, we can't catch anything else on that route. We have to nickname every Pokemon we catch to raise our affection towards it, and if any Pokemon faints, we have to release it ASAP. If our entire team faints, then the run is over, unless we have some Pokemon in the PC. However, if we can have a full team of 6, we must, and any more that we catch after that can be the backup team. Also, the battle style will be set, so we won't have any advantage of knowing what Pokemon is coming out next. We can't use items in battle, apart from Pokeballs. Held items are okay, and healing in between battles is fine. We also won't be using any glitches or exploits, however I don't know any for Pokemon Emerald, so that's not really an issue. We start up the game, call ourselves Drawcirc, because apparently you aren't allowed to have more than 7 characters in your name in the Pokemon world. And don't tell me it's due to lack of memory space, as you can use a lot more when nicknaming your Pokemon. So before I start, I decided to take the Pokeball on the right in Professor Birch's bag, as that's usually Mudkip, my favourite first form starter. We open the bag, and lo and behold, Mudkip has been randomised into Swampert. I swear this was a complete coincidence, I did not plan this. The other 2 Pokemon are Sandshrew and Arcanine, which means we are super effective against both other starters. Again, I have to emphasise, I did not plan this was completely random. Swampert has an adamant nature, plus attack, minus special attack, good for its ground moves, bad for its water moves, and the ability plus, which is one of the worst abilities. Ugh. I hate plus on mining so much. We defeat the Zigzagoon easily, which isn't randomised for some reason, and we name our Swampert Swampbert, so we can call it Bert. Yes, I did give my Pokemon a nickname, so I could call it a different nickname. Don't at me. We head straight for May and crush her with Bert's power. We defeat Arcanine easily with a Mud Slap and then a Water Gun. Head back to the lab, get our Pokeballs, and head out to catch more Pokemon. On Route 101, we encounter a Houndoom. Try and weaken it with Mud Slap, but we one-shot it, missing our encounter on Route 101. On Route 103, we encounter Charmeleon. We get burnt, so we can attack without killing it, knock it to 1 HP with a crit, and then catch our second Pokemon, calling it Megazard. Onto Route 102 now, we catch Natu. Realising its name's an anagram, we call it Tuna. And yes, I say tuna, not tuna, because I'm not American. We talk to Dad in Petalburg City, help Wally, who catches a Medicham, and uses a Haunter that knows Tackle somehow. Wally is a hacker, confirmed. Route 104, we encounter Vigoroth, which I'm very excited for, as slacking without Truant will be unstoppable. And catching it, we call it Brook. If you get why I called it that, then get a better taste in movies. Before we head into the Petalburg Woods, we battle Lady Cindy, who has a Torkoal with the Drought ability. Somehow this randomizer predicted Gen 7 Torkoal. Amazing. In the woods we encounter Grimer, get poisoned, and then catch it, and call it Squelch. We'll call it Squelch. Defeating all of the trainers north of the woods, one of which had Mew and another had Registeel, we head for the gym. The gym trainers were no issue, and then we faced off against Roxanne. Her first Pokemon is Jirachi, a Pokemon that actually ruined a Pokemon randomizer I did a few years ago. Luckily, I had Bert, who was a powerhouse of a ground Pokemon, easily dispatching it with a couple of mud shots. Next is Main Electric, another easy KO for Bert. And then third is Chinchou, another electric type. And another one-shot with Bert. With that we get our stone badge, and we're 1/8 of the way to the Pokemon League. On Route 116, after defeating a wild Karen, we encountered a Smoochum and accidentally killed it with a single pound. In the Whismur Cave, we catch a Wishcash, which is a weird coincidence. This run seems to be full of them so far. Maybe it's a glitch in the Matrix. Does that mean I'm the chosen one? Anyway, we call it Cash Money. We grab a water lift from Brittany to Dewford Island, and we take on the gym. Most of the trainers are no issue, but we ended up locked into uproar with Brooke, while Politoed double slapped her to death. I cannot believe we lost Brooke that early. We never even got to see her in her prime as an unstoppable slacking tank. We release her with much sadness and head back to the gym to get our vengeance. We also battle a trainer with this very irritating Deoxys speed form. It kept double teaming, but eventually we killed it because Bert is the best. Battling the gym leader, his first Pokemon is for Alligator, another poor soul who wasn't allowed enough characters for his name. I feel you, my blue gator. We have to switch out Megazard for Bert, who takes it down easily with 2 mud shots. Next out is another Main Electric, another weird coincidence, and another one shot with mud shot. The last Pokemon is a very annoying Duskull with Disable and Nightshade and all of the super potions. It took Bert down to 10 HP, so we swapped into Megazard, used a couple of Embers, and then got disabled. We had no other moves that could hit Duskull, so we swapped out into Squelch. Squelch got hit with a Nightshade and KO'd with Astonish, but managed to poison Duskull before it died. We send out Tuna, who immediately dies to an Astonish. We bring Bert out for a risky mud shot, but we hit it and KO Duskull, beating Brawly and gaining the Knuckle badge. Now, we lost a few Pokemon in that last gym, but we're in the perfect place to replace them, as with the old rod in Dewford, you can catch Pokemon from 2 routes, the town and the cave nearby. On Route 107, we catch Azurill and call it Tiny Pokemon, after one of my Twitch followers who was watching at the time. Yes, I do stream over on Twitch, thanks for asking, at twitch.tv/drawcirc, most evenings. Come stop by and tell me this video sent you. In Dewford Town, we fish up a Sunflora, one of the worst possible Pokemon. But we catch it, as we can't exactly turn anyone away right now. Although it does use up far too many of our Pokeballs. We name it Flower Power. Route 106, we're gifted with some good luck, as we find an Ivysaur swimming around. We throw a Pokeball and catch it on the first try. Yes! We name it Saurosaurus, because I think I'm hilarious, and I don't care what anyone else thinks. Heading into a cave, we encounter a Makuhita, a Pokemon that you can find in this cave normally, another weird coincidence. We call it Fat Fuck, with PHs so it isn't technically swearing. YouTube, you heard me right? It's not real swearing. It's not like I said motherfucking cocksucking cunt. Okay? Just to clear that up. We give Steven his stupid letter, go and get the XP share from his dad, and then head off to Slateport. We destroy the beach trainers and head off to the museum to find some grunty boys! One of the grunts has a Salamence, and while we're having some terrifying flashbacks to our last run, Bert takes care of it easily. Off to Route 110, we catch a Jigglypuff, which we call Puffly-Jig. We defeat all the trainers and then head for the Trick House, and get given a rare candy by the Trickmaster. Yes, he's still not been arrested. Hashtag bring the Trickmaster to justice. Then we run into our best frenemy, May. She sends out a Raticate, we swap into Bert, and get knocked down to 69 HP. Nice. With Hyper Fang. A Mud Shot and a Mud Slap takes care of Raticate easily. Next out is Blissey, which is taken down by a single Mud Shot. Out last is her starter Arcanine, which flinches us with Bite, but next turn we OHKO it with Mud Shot, easily taking May down. Heading through the rest of Route 110, Cash Money gets killed by a Rogue Fury attack from a Dodrio. When we get into town, we head for the Pokemon Center and release Cash Money. We gain some levels from the trainers on Route 118 and head for the gym. Wally has a Victory Bell, but even with his fully evolved Pokemon, it only takes 2 Embers from Megazard to kill it. The gym trainers proved to be a little bit of a challenge, with a couple of close calls, but we didn't lose anyone this time. Watson sends out Sandshrew first, which we take down with a Vital Throw from Fatfuck, and a Vine Whip from Saurosaurus. Wynaut comes out next, which can be a Pokemon killer if you aren't careful. We hit a Leech Seed and then a Sleep Powder in order to take it out safely. After we hit it with Vine Whip, it wakes up and uses Mirror Coat, the worst case scenario. Luckily, we didn't actually do that much damage to Wynaut, so it only took half of Saurosaurus' HP. Wynaut heals with a Citrus Berry, and we hit another Sleep Powder. Watson then heals Wynaut with a Super Potion as we hit a Tackle. We hit a couple more Vine Whips as Wynaut sleeps. Then we miss the third Vine Whip as Wynaut wakes up. That was lucky, as it used Mirror Coat again. We finish it off with another Vine Whip. After Wynaut faints, Torkoal comes out and sets up the sun. We swap in Bert and use 3 Mud Slaps to lower its accuracy, which works out as Torkoal misses a powered up Body Slam. Bert then finishes Torkoal off with a Mud Shot. Last out is Raikou, an actual electric type in the electric type gym, but also a scary legendary Pokemon. We try for a Mud Shot, but Raikou flinches Bert with a Bite. Another attempt, and we don't flinch this time, but it takes Raikou down to 1 HP. We try to finish it with Mud Slap, but Watson heals with a Super Potion. We then miss a Mud Shot, get hit with a Bite, and the following turn we hit the Mud Shot for the KO and win the Dynamo badge from Watson. Heading on to Route 117, we catch a Sableye. We call it No Weakness, because prior to Gen 6, Dark Ghost types had no weakness. It's just a shame Sableye is such a weak Pokemon without its Mega. Then we have some fun on the Acrobite. Heading north, we beat all the trainers with no issues, catch Flareon on Route 112, and call it Lysander. In the Fiery Pass, we counter a Hariyama, which is a duplicate due to us having Fatfuck already. Our next encounter in the Fiery Pass is Feel, which I'm very excited for because Walrein is a tank. We call it Seaball, however due to Seaball's poison point, no weakness is now poison, and we have no way to heal its status condition. The journey back to the PC is nerve-wracking, as we keep healing No Weakness's HP to avoid losing it. After healing, we head back north, and when we smash the rocks, we get a Sandshrew encounter for Route 111. We call it Sandball. Onto Route 113, we try and get a new encounter, but everything is Barboach for some reason. And as we already had Cash Money, Barboach was a duplicate. After a good 15 minutes, we finally find something else, a Meditite, which we immediately kill with a Razor Leaf. It wasn't even a crit. How fragile is Meditite? As we battle through Route 113 trainers, Fatfuck evolves into Hariyama, which is our first evolution so far, which is very weird at this point in the game. Heading past Falabra Town, we catch a Pidgey on Route 114 and call it Bird, because I have run out of ideas. In Meteor Falls, we run into Cleffa, catch it, and call it No, because we are never going to use it. Heading to the top of Mount Chimney, we battle through the Magma Grunts and face Maxie. First out is Omanite, which is an easy one-shot with Razor Leaf from Saurosaur. Next is Psyduck, and another Razor Leaf deals with that easily. Next out is Eevee. So we swap into No Weakness, who's immune to the normal type moves and can hit hard with Brick Break, knocking it out and beating Maxie. Going south onto the Jagged Pass, we find a Tailo, catch it and call it Bird 2, because we have a trend now. While battling the trainers, Seaball evolves into Celio, which is nice. Once we get into La Rouge Town, we head for the gym. After beating all the trainers, and then getting lost in the gym maze for quite a while, we finally face off against Flannery. First out is Barboach, so we swap into Saurosaur and OHKO it with Razor Leaf. Next out is for Alligator, which we take down another 2 Razor Leaves. Next is Croconaw, which takes another 2 Razor Leaves, and last is Wigglytuff, which is a shame because it would have been great if the Fire Gym had used all water Pokemon. We'd bring in Fatfuck to deal with the Wigglytuff, use Vital Throw for about half damage, and then get disabled. Due to us having a choice band, we have to struggle now. 4 struggles later, and we can use Vital Throw again, finishing off Wigglytuff and winning the Heat badge. Then we get the Go Goggles from May, and head into the desert. Heading into Mirage Tower, we catch a Lickitung, call it Tungsten, and then we grab the Root Fossil. Why don't you guess what Pokemon it turns into down below? Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. We push on to Meteor Falls and head through Route 115. We fish up a Heracross with the Old Rod, catch it and call it Crisscross. Then we journey back to Petalburg to challenge the gym, and realise we never caught a Pokemon in the water here. Fishing it up with the Old Rod, we catch an Exploud. And then we catch Exploud, although it took a long while, even though it was only level 9. Then we face Daddy Norman. He sends out Relicanth first, so we swap into Saurosaur, get hit with a Rock Tomb, and then KO'd the Relicanth in revenge with a Razor Leaf. Next out is Politoed, who puts Saurosaur to sleep, first turn it's out. If you've ever watched me battle with my water team over on Twitch, where I stream most evenings, you will know this is my opening move with my own Politoed. I must say, my own medicine does not taste good. Politoed sings a Perish song as we wake up, and we hit a Razor Leaf for about a third of Politoed's HP. Swapping into Seaball to get rid of the Perish song, Politoed uses the move again as Seaball hits a Body Slam, paralysing Politoed. Swapping again into No Weakness, Norman switches too, bringing out Sneasel. We easily one-shot the Sneasel with a Brick Break. Politoed comes back out, and we hit it with an Astonish for pitiful damage. And Politoed's Flame Body burns No Weakness. Switching into Seaball again, we Body Slam a couple of times while Politoed is paralysed, but then Seaball gets burned too. Politoed goes for another Perish song, so we switch into Bert, and Daddy Norman heals up Politoed. Politoed goes for another Perish song, which is getting very irritating now. We swap into Saurosaur as Norman swaps into Beldum. Dude wants to constantly use Perish songs but not accept the consequences. Back into Bert and we Oko Beldum with a Mud Shot, and then we whittle Politoed down with 3 more Mud Shots as it fails to land a hit. And with that, we beat out Dad and gain the Balance Badge. We head back to Moorville, help Watson with his Doomsday device, and then catch Wooper, whoop whoop, and surf over the water on Route 118. Grabbing the Good Rod, we do a Fishy Fish, and our encounter for Route 118 is Minun. We call it Plusle because there's basically no difference between the two Pokemon. We also catch a Farfetch because I think it's a different route, but it's not, so we release it. But we did call it Implausible. On Route 119 we run into a Scizor, but accidentally kill it with Leech Seed. We press on to the Weather Institute, crush all the grunty boys, and annihilate the Aqua Admin with Crisscross. For a reward, the Weather Institute gifts us a Beautifly, which we name Flutterby. 3 steps out of the Institute and May challenges us to a battle. She sends out Remoraid, and luckily we have Saurosaurus out front already. 1 Razor Leaf takes it down easily. The starter Arcanine comes out next, so we swap into Bert. 1 Rain-powered Surf KOs Arcanine no problem. Last out is Spinnerack, which we deal with easily with another Surf. On Route 120, Steven uses the Sylph Scope and their Jolteon attacks us. We catch it and call it Sparks. Then we run into a Groudon in the grass. We could have had a Groudon, but no, we got stuck with Sparks. Let's go to the gym. While we're defeating the gym trainers, we battle a trainer with an Ivysaur and a Venusaur, and then our own Saurosaur evolves into a Venusaur of our own! Challenging Winona, she sends out Sharpedo, which has the ability Drizzle. We swap into No Weakness and go for a Fake Out. We get hit hard with a Crunch, but we knock it out with a Brick Break. Next out is Omanyte, which is an easy Oko with Saurosaur's Razor Leaf. Octillery is out next, and we hit it hard with Razor Leaf, but get hit hard with an Aurora Beam in return. Another Razor Leaf finishes off the Octillery as Zubat comes out. Swapping into Seaball, we get confused by Zubat. Breaking through the confusion, we one-shot the Zubat with an Aurora Beam of our own. Winona's last Pokemon is Chikorita, and we hit the Aurora Beam, snapping out of our confusion. After getting poisoned and Winona healing up Chikorita, we decide to swap into Megazard. We overheat, but due to Sharpedo's Rain, it doesn't KO. Winona heals Chikorita again as we go for a Flamethrower. It barely does any damage due to the rain and the stat drop from overheat, but we persevere. 4 Flamethrowers later, and we finally kill the Chikorita. But we did get poisoned along the way, and we're low on health towards the end, but we have defeated Winona and gain the Feather Badge. When we get to Route 121, we catch a Wartortle and call it Tortoise. Heading into Lilycove City, we challenge May to another Pokemon battle. She has Aggron out first, and we send out Crisscross. 1 Brick Break takes it down easily. Lunatone is out next and cuts Crisscross's power with Intimidate. We bring out Bert and hit it with a Surf as Lunatone starts using Phenomenal Cosmic Powers! But another Surf takes it down. May sends Haunter out next, but it uses Curse, cutting its own HP to put a curse on Bert, and we finish it off with Mudshot. Arcanine is out last, and a Mudshot takes it into red HP. Arcanine hits us back with Bite, and with Bert's Curse, we need to switch him out. Bringing out Megazard, we get hit with a Bite, and then dig a hole. Dig takes down the Arcanine, and we beat May once again. Surfing down Route 122, we get to Mount Pyre, and we run into a Flareon. This is a duplicate, so we bravely run away, and encounter a Meganium. We catch it and call it Poppy. Inside Mount Pyre, we catch a Seedot and call it Ninja Seed. We head up to the outside to deal with Team Aqua, and one of the grunts has a Rayquaza. I bet he didn't let his boss know he had that. While looking for items on top of Mount Pyre, Megazard defeated a wild Kangaskhan and evolved into Charizard. On Route 123, we run into a wild Tailo, which is a duplicate. Our next encounter is Grovyle, which we catch and call it Tree. Now we need to smack Team Aqua in the urethra. So we head to their base and catch a Numel inside, calling it Mel. While battling a grunt, we hit a Wobbuffet for 90% of its HP with a strength, and it hits us back with counter in return, KO and crisscross. This is why I hate Wobbuffet on Nuzlocke. Then we battle Maxi. He sends out Azurill first. It actually takes a little while to take it down, surprisingly, with 2 Giga Drains and a Fly. Yes, my Venusaur knows how to fly. No, I don't think it breaks continuity. Saurosaur just spins his petals like a helicopter. Gengar is out next, and we switch into no weakness and get confused. We get hit with a Shadow Punch and then hit ourselves in confusion. Another Shadow Punch and another confusion hit the next turn, and then we swap into Bert, who also gets punched by Gengar. Next turn, Bert gets confused and hits himself. The turn after, Gengar punches Bert with Shadows again as he snaps out confusion and KOs Gengar with a Mud Shot. Maxi sends out Dusclops next, which we hit with a Surf, and Dusclops goes for Curse. The Curse takes Bert to low health, so we swap into Saurosaur as Maxi heals Dusclops. Giga Drain takes Dusclops down below half, and Dusclops hits us back with a Shadow Punch. Next turn we crit a Giga Drain and take down the Dusclops, beating Maxi once again. Heading back to Lillicove, we use the Good Rod and fish up a Dusclops. We catch it and call it Dust Chops. We get to the Aqua hideout and try and fish for a Pokemon, but I don't think you can actually catch anything here. However, along the way we find a room where a couple of Electrodes are normally. This one's randomised into a Lantern, which we catch and call Lamp. We breeze through the rest of the base and steamroll the Aqua admin. On Route 124 we keep running to a Wild Marshtomp, which is a dupe encounter, so we fish instead, hooking a Breloom. We catch it and call it Mushroom, as I'm totally running out of ideas for names now. We surf up to Mossdeep City and mosey on over to the gym. Double battling our way through the gym trainers, we get to the gym leaders. Liza and Tate send out Ghastly and Nidorino. Sending out Megazard and Seaball, we go for a Flamethrower and a Surf. Seaball gets hit with a Nightshade for a big chunk of damage. We swap out Seaball for Bert, and Liza and Tate swap out Nidorino for Cyndaquil. Megazard then hits a big Flamethrower to KO Ghastly. Tate and Liza send out Shroomish, which then gets one shot by Megazard's Flamethrower. Nidorino comes out to replace Shroomish, which gets immediately killed by Surf. Cyndaquil, however, has Water Absorb, so the attack is nullified. I didn't notice this, however, and went for another Surf, healing it up after Megazard hit it with a Wing Attack. Noticing this time, we go for Wing Attack and Mud Shot, finishing off Cyndaquil and winning the Mind Badge. Exploring the Space Center, we discover Steven being bullied by Team Magma, so we step in to help. Maxi and his pals send out Lickitung and Spinder. We send out Megazard, and Steven sends out Metang. Yeah, Steven's Pokemon here aren't randomised. Very odd. We hit Lickitung with Flamethrower, and Steven sets Reflect. Spinder then does a Teeter Dance, confusing everyone, and Lickitung hurts itself in confusion. Then we switch into Saurosaur. Metang finishes off Lickitung with Psychic, out comes Charmander to replace it, and Spinder hits Saurosaur with Dizzy Punch. We hit Spinder with Giga Drain, Metang hurts itself in confusion, and Charmander hits Saurosaur with a huge Flamethrower for over half of its HP, and Spinder hits Metang with a Dizzy Punch. We swap out into Bert, Metang hits Spinder to 1 HP with Psychic, Charmander goes for a Scary Face, and Spinder Teeter Dances again. Bert breaks through his confusion and hits Surf, knocking out both Spinder and Charmander. Out come Meganium and Barboach. Metang hits Psychic on Barboach for half of its HP. We swap out into Megazard. Metang finishes off Barboach with Psychic, and Meganium misses a Poison Powder. The Magma mates send out Vigoroth last. We Flamethrower Meganium for half its HP, get hit with Vigoroth Slash, Meganium body slams Metang, and Metang Psychics Meganium, sending it into the red. We Flamethrower Vigoroth, Meganium heals itself up with Synthesis, Metang hits Meganium with another Psychic, and Vigoroth loses its focus and can't Focus Punch. Next turn we Flamethrower Meganium, knocking it out, and Metang knocks out Vigoroth, beating Maxi and his friend. As we're leaving Mossdeep City, we surf in the water and encounter a Zubat, so we catch it and call it Bruce Man. Surfing up to Route 125, we catch a Gorobus and call it Gorbus. Into the Shoal Cave and we catch a little Teddiursa and call it Theodorsa. Onto Route 126, and I don't notice we enter Trainer Battle and keep trying to catch their Dunsparce. So I guess you can call me Draw Steel. That's a terrible joke. When we defeat the Dunsparce, we encounter a Dratini, so we catch that instead and call it Mega Dragon. On Route 128, we run into Groudon, which would have been a great addition to the team, but unfortunately we killed it. Back up to Route 127 and we find a Typhlosion, catch it and call it Explosion. We get into the underwater aqua base and accidentally kill our Cacturne encounter. Also, Theodorsa ends up getting killed by a wild Tri-Attack from a Doduo. It isn't even a triple-headed Pokemon yet, what's it doing learning Tri-Attack? We have only had this teddy bear for a few minutes and now he's dead. We find Kyogre at the end of the cave, but Archie runs in screaming he called dibs and then fights me for it. First out is Jinx, and we swap into No Weakness. It turns out, No Weakness's weakness is just any strong move, as Jinx's Ice Punch nearly KOs it. Swapping into Seaball, we tank an Ice Punch and hit Jinx with a Surf. Next we go for Body Slam and paralyse Jinx. Archie heals Jinx with a Super Potion as we hit another Body Slam. One more Body Slam takes down Jinx. Next out is Flaffy, so we swap into Burt. One Mud Shot takes it down easily. Last out is Tangela, so we swap into Megazard, but we get paralysed by Stun Spore. Even so, we break through and KO Tangela with a Flamethrower, beating Archie. Back out into the open world. On Route 129, we run into a Drowsy, catch it and call it Rapist.
They're all rapists.
On Route 130, we keep running into Silcoons, which are duplicates, so we keep looking for something else. Eventually, we find a Magby, catch it and call it Butthead. On Route 131, we find a Charizard, another duplicate. Remember when I said Area 1-to-1 cuts down on dupes? Yeah, that's working out well now, isn't it? Then we find a Slowpoke, catch it and call it Slope. In Paciflog Town, we release Theodorsa. We pop into Sutopolis City and the Cave of Origin, catch a Victory Bell, and call it Veneven, the opposite of Saurosaur. In the Sky Pillar, we run into a Granbull, but it roared us away, so we lost the encounter. After Rayquaza slaps the shit out of its kids, we challenge the final gym. First out is Vaporeon, so we swap into Saurosaur and get hit with a Bite. Giga Drain does about half damage to Vaporeon, but it retaliates with Aurora Beam, which also does about half damage to us. We finish off Vaporeon with Giga Drain and regain most of our HP. Our next Giga Drain takes Seal into the red, and Seal retaliates with Ice Beam. Juan heals Seal up, so we hit a couple more Giga Drains to take it down. Juan sends out Slugma next, so we swap into Seaball and take it out with a couple of Waterfalls. Now he sends out Groudon, which is a little scary. It hits Seaball hard with an Earthquake for about 3/4 of its health, as we hit it back for about half damage with Surf. We swap into Megazard to dodge the next Earthquake, but instead it goes for Ancient Power, taking Megazard to only 8 HP. We swap into Burt, get hit with a Slash, and then get hit with an Earthquake, taking us to only 28 HP, but then we KO Groudon with Surf. Last out is Skitty, and we swap into No Weakness. Skitty goes for a Double Edge, which can't affect No Weakness. Skitty and No Weakness then trade a couple of Feint Attacks and Brick Breaks until Skitty faints, and we win the Rain Badge. When we get to Evergrande City, we climb up the waterfall and fish for Paris. We catch it and call it Tiny Pokemon 2. Inside Victory Road, we encounter a Pinsir, catch it and call it Large Pokemon. Wally ambushes us and challenges us to a battle. First out is Jigglypuff, and we send out Burt. Burt hits hard with Surf, but we get hit with a Body Slam and paralysed. Jigglypuff uses Rest to heal up as we hit it with another Surf. Going for another Surf, Wally switches out into Victory Bell. As Burt is allergic to grass, we swap into Megazard and Razor Leaf does basically nothing. One of Megazard's Flamethrower KOs Victory Bell easily. Wait a second, that means Wally had a Victory Bell outside the third gym and here as well. Maybe he does keep his starter, it's just not what he catches in the randomised tutorial. Huh, I've never noticed that before. Rhyhorn comes out next and sets the sun with Drought. We swap into Saurosaur and get Scary Faced. We are still faster and one-shot Rhydon with Giga Drain. Wingull comes out next, and as we grow to raise our special attack, Wingull uses Mist. Wingull then hits us with a Wing Attack, but we Giga Drain it, gain all our health back and KO it. Jigglypuff comes back out, and one fly is enough to take it down. Outlast is Meditite. We swap into No Weakness, and a Fake Out and a Shadow Ball takes out Meditite while it was just Calm Minding. We defeat Wally, and Bruce Man evolves into a Golbat. While we are battling the trainers in Victory Road, a Lapras crits an Ice Beam on Saurosaur, killing it in one shot. We replace Saurosaur with Tiny Pokemon 2. And it doesn't take long before it evolves into Parasect. As we defeat the last couple of trainers on Victory Road, our Seaball evolves into a Wall Rain. Before we go and challenge the Elite Four, we do some grinding until Bruceman evolves into Crobat. This takes about 7 hours of grinding to achieve. Finally, Bruceman reaches level 56 and has gained enough friendship to evolve into Crobat. Now we're ready to take on the Elite Four. First up is Sydney, and he starts off with a Linoon, and we start with Bruceman. We hit a return for big damage, and Linoon crits us with a slash. Another return KOs Linoon, and out comes Vaporeon. Swapping into Bert, Vaporeon goes for Acid Armor, sharply raising its defense. An Earthquake from Bert barely does half damage to Vaporeon, as it goes for Acid Armor again. We go for a Surf for pitiful damage, as we get hit with an Aurora Beam, which lowers our attack. We swap into Seaball and tank a critical Aurora Beam. We go for Body Slam, which does nothing to Vaporeon, and we get burnt by Vaporeon's Flame Body. Vaporeon then crits us with Bite for big damage. Seaball's Surf does barely anything but puts its HP into the red, and Vaporeon hits another crit Bite. That's 3 crits in a row. We swap back into Bert as Sydney heals up Vaporeon. We then hit 4 Earthquakes to finish off the Vaporeon, tanking its Aurora Beams. Next out is Weezing, which is an easy one-shot with Earthquake. Sydney sends out Crobat next, so we swap into No Weakness, making the Crobat flinch with Fake Out. Then the next turn Crobat hits us with a Wing Attack, as we hit it back with Shadow Ball. Next turn we get confused with Confuse Ray, but break through the confusion and hit a Feint Attack. Crobat locks us in place with Mean Look, and we break through confusion again and hit another Feint Attack. Next turn Sydney heals up Crobat, and we snap out of confusion and hit another Feint Attack. No Weakness gets confused again, breaks through it again and hits another Shadow Ball. Due to leftovers, we are at full HP again. Air Cutter does big damage to us, and No Weakness hurts itself in confusion. Crobat hits us with a Wing Attack, and we snap out of confusion and knock Crobat out with a critical Shadow Ball. Last out is Sandslash. We swap out into Bruceman, and Poison Sting does nothing to us. Return does about a third damage to Sandslash as it slashes back for barely anything. I guess this Sandslash is a Sand Scratch. We use Fly, put Sandslash into red HP, and then it eats a Citrus Berry to gain its health back. We miss the next Fly, and get hit with another slash, putting us to only 38 HP. We risk Fly again, but it works out as we hit it and feint Sandslash, beating Sydney. Healing everyone up out of battle, so it's not breaking the rules, we then challenge Phoebe. First out is Blissey, and we send out Tiny Pokemon 2. We put it to sleep, but it does hit a double edge first. As Blissey sleeps, we hit 3 slashes in a row to take Blissey down for a massive amount of EXP points. Next out is Nidoran Male, and we swap into Bert. Nidoran goes for a Flatter, which I was not aware it learned, to be honest, which confuses Bert. Bert hurts itself in confusion, and then gets poked with Nidoran's horn a few times. Next turn we break through the confusion and hit an Earthquake, KOing Nidoran. Furret is out next, so we swap into No Weakness. Furret just keeps using Follow Me, which is stupid because who else am I going to attack, you stupid ferret? 2 Brick Breaks later, and the Forest is on the floor unconscious. Kingdra is out next, which can be a real pain. We swap into Seaball and get Leered, lowering its defense. Aurora Beam does barely a quarter of Kingdra's HP as it goes for another Leer. Twister does barely anything to us, and we hit a Body Slam for another chunk of damage. We trade Twister for Body Slam again, but then the turn after, Twister crits and causes Seaball to flinch. We swap into Bert and finish Kingdra off with an Earthquake. Last out is another Nidoran Male, further proving the Matrix is real, and an Earthquake takes care of it in one shot, defeating Phoebe. Next to fall to our awesome team is Glacier. She sends out Vileplume first, so we swap in Megazard, which gets hit with Petal Dance. Megazard takes Vileplume down to red HP with Flamethrower, as Vileplume is locked into Petal Dance, which does nothing to Megazard, and then gets confused due to fatigue. And Flamethrower only takes Vileplume into yellow health this time. Another Flamethrower takes Vileplume down, and Glacier sends out Noctowl, so we send out Seaball. Noctowl uses Reflect, as we go for an Aurora Beam for about half its health. Noctowl uses Body Slam, gets hit with Recoil, and then gets poisoned by Seaball's Poison Point. We hit it with Aurora Beam to take Noctowl into red health. Glacier would have certainly healed with the full restore, if not for the poisoning finishing off Noctowl. Glacier sends out Victory Bell next, so we swap into Megazard as Victory Bell crits it with Razor Leaf. We go for an Overheat, hit it, KO Victory Bell in one shot. Out next is Bagon, but our Ice-type Pokemon is already low on health, so we swap into Bert and get Scary Faced. Noctowl's Reflect wears off as we go for an Earthquake and feint Bagon in one hit. Outlast is Charmander, which is faster due to Scary Face, does pitiful damage with Slash as we OHKO it with Surf, thrashing Glacier. Getting all up in Drake's face, he sends out his ultimate Pokemon, Metabod with Ultimate Harden. 2 normal and 1 critical slashes later, and Metabod goes down. Drake sends out Quillfish next, so we swap into Bird. We get hit with a big Hydro Pump, then murder the Quillfish with Earthquake. Oddish is out next, so we swap into Bruceman. 1 wing attack is enough to destroy Oddish entirely, and then Drake sends out Onyx to try and crush our awesome bat. We swap into Seaball as Onyx makes like Darude. Apparently Onyx outspeeds Seaball and smacks us with his Iron Tail, but we tank it and drown Onyx in the surf. Last out is Zigzagoon, so we swap into No Weakness as Zigzagoon goes for a Belly Drum. Zigzagoon goes for a rest to heal up, but we hit a big Brick Break. Drake heals Zigzagoon up with a full restore, but we crit our next Brick Break, knocking it out from full HP, defeating Drake. Just the champion Wallace left. Wallace sends out Pinsir first, which could be a problem. We swap into Bruceman as Pinsir goes for a Swords Dance. We fly up in the air as Pinsir Swords Dances again, which makes this Pinsir very dangerous now. We then fly back down and hit Pinsir hard, but it lands a +4 submission on Bruceman. Luckily, Bruceman 4 times resists fighting moves, so it only does about a third of our HP. Wallace heals up Pinsir as we go for a wing attack, but another wing attack takes down the Pinsir easily. Clefairy comes out next, and we hit a return for just over half its HP, as it goes for
Phenomenal Cosmic Power!
Due to its phenomenal cosmic power, it's able to survive the next hit and goes for a Moonlight to heal up. We hit another return to take it back into red as it heals up again with Moonlight. We keep trying to take the Clefairy down with Poison Fang and return, but Clefairy keeps healing with Moonlight. Eventually it doesn't heal up when its HP gets low and we're able to knock it out. Hitmontop comes out next, so we stay in with Bruceman, hitting it hard with a wing attack as Hitmon uses agility to speed up. Next turn, Hitmontop protects itself with Detect, and then hits us with Endeavour, but we knock it out with another wing attack. Vibrava is out next, so we swap into Seaball. Vibrava hits us with the Dragon Breath, paralysing Seaball. We go for an Aurora Beam as Vibrava sets up the Sandstorm, knocking it out even though it's nearly 10 levels higher. Most of our team is actually pretty underleveled at this point. Wallace sends out Pineco, so we swap into Megazord. 1 Flamethrower takes care of Pineco, and now it's time for the champion's last Pokemon, Dodrio. This Dodrio is the worst. It hits a massive Tri-Attack on Megazord, paralysing it. We actually managed to launch our Overheat at the Dodrio, knocking it into red health. It heals up a bit with its Citrus Berry, and as we swap into No Weakness, it goes for another Tri-Attack, which can't hit No Weakness. We fake out to flinch the Dodrio, which may have been a mistake, as Wallace heals Dodrio up to full health. Feint Attack does barely anything, so we swap to Bird. 2 Drill Pecks did massive damage to Bird as we hit a Surf to knock it back down to yellow HP. We swap back into No Weakness as Wallace heals up Dodrio again. We fake out Dodrio and then attack with Brick Break, but Dodrio hits No Weakness with Drill Peck, taking it down to only 39 HP, as Brick Break does barely anything to Dodrio. We sacrifice No Weakness to the mighty Dodrio to have a chance to defeat it. After No Weakness dies, we send in Bruceman. Bruceman is actually faster than the Dodrio, as it flies up to dodge a Drill Peck, and as we come back down, he knocks Dodrio into red HP. Dodrio then hits Bruceman with an Uproar, killing him too. Sending out Seaball, Dodrio hits him with an Uproar, which he tanks. Seaball then KOs the terrible Dodrio with Surf, beating the champion, the Elite Four, and the game. So, can we beat Pokemon Emerald in a hardcore randomizer Nuzlocke? Yes, but it took 31 hours, and I didn't use the turbo button. However, many of you will be thinking the same thing. What about Steven? Well, good news, Pokefans, I'm going to battle Steven too. But first, we need to release our dead Pokemon, and then grind for a bit. During the grind, we evolved Ninja Seed into Nuzleaf. Now we challenge the Pokemon League again, to gain some more levels before we take on Steven. We breathe through the entire Elite Four until we get to the champion. Megazord gets taken out by Hitmon's counter, and then that damn Dodrio knocks out all of our remaining Pokemon except Pinsir. And Pinsir only won because Dodrio died to Sandstorm and poison damage. Right, back to grinding, I guess. While releasing our dead Pokemon, Bert actually comes back, so we have to put it to one side because it loves us too much to die quietly. The next team consists of large Pokemon the Pinsir, Tree the Grovyle, Lamp the Lantern, Splosion the Typhlosion, Mega Dragon the Dratini, and Bird 2 the Tailo. We barely started grinding when Tree misses 3 moves in a row against the Quagsire and faints to a critical Mudshot. So we replace it with Poppy in the Meganium. Then not long after, we lose Bird 2 to a Hidden Power from a Medicham and lose Poppy to an Earthquake from a Ludicolo in one double battle. Yeah, this was a bad battle. So, we replace Bird 2 with Bird, the Pidgey, and replace Poppy with Venaven, the Victory Bell. Along the way, Bird evolves into Pidgeotto, and after quite a while, Mega Dragon evolves into Dragonair, and not long after that, Bird evolves into Pidgeot. Then Lamp gets killed by the Medicham Ludicolo double battle trainers, who hit it with High Jump Kick and Earthquake. When we release it, we replace it with Gorbus. Then Mega Dragon gets killed with a critical High Jump Kick. How am I supposed to train my team up for Steven if they keep dying? We replace it with Rapist the Drowsy. Who evolves into Hypno not long after. We then don't run into any problems for a while and grind up all our Pokemon to level 46, apart from Pinsir, who is now level 60. We then go and take on the Pokemon League again to train up our team, and we lose Splosion to Sydney's Crobat and lose Bird to his Sandslash. We then lose Gorbus to Glacey's Noctowl. The large Pokemon then takes on the rest of the Elite Four and the champion by itself, so we run through the entire Elite Four once more with just large Pokemon using Swords Dance. Getting sick of constantly grinding and constantly losing Pokemon, we just head to Steven with Pinsir and 5 cannon fodder Pokemon in case he gets into trouble. Steven has all his Pokemon in the high 70s and Pinsir is only level 62, but we are hoping for some lower stat Pokemon to deal with. Talking to Steven, he sends out Snorlax first. This could be an issue, but we set up a Swords Dance while Snorlax blocks us from switching. Next turn we Swords Dance again, and Snorlax starts a rollout which does quite a lot of damage, even on turn 1. We go for a Brick Break, hoping to take down Snorlax before it can hit us with a powered up rollout. And we knock it out with a crit. I'm not sure we needed the crit, but it's a good job we got it just in case. Out comes Taylor, which double teams, but we managed to hit a strength for the one shot regardless. Now out comes Charizard, and I'm certain the run is over here. Charizard is 14 levels higher, has both stab types super effective against us, and a Charmander's Flamethrower in the Elite Four nearly KO'd us in one shot. Luckily for us, Steven is a terrible trainer and goes for Dragon Rage twice because we don't KO it in one shot. Next out is Azorial, and then Rattata, which are both quick one shots with Brick Break. Last out is Snorunt, another simple one shot with Brick Break, meaning yes, we can beat Steven with a level 62 Pinsir. I mean in a hardcore randomizer Nuzlocke. Thank you very much for watching. This was a great run to begin with, as it was quite challenging, but definitely possible. However, the amount of grinding I needed to do in the late game was soul destroying, especially when we lost those Pokemon immediately. Let me know in the comments down below what challenge I should do next, and who was your favourite member of the team. Also, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, share the video to help us get some more viewers, and subscribe and ring that bell to get notifications on my new videos. Thanks again for watching till the end, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.